Greetings friends, and welcome back to my channel. In this video I would like us to share 13 pairs which I think will be doing well next week, and we will be reviewing after next week, and that will be during the weekend. So let's begin with AUD Swiss franc, and I would like to mention that all the pairs will be shared using daily charts. And so when we begin with AUD Swiss franc, we can see that we have been having a strong bearish trend on a daily chart. We have price moving from this end all the way into this area, and it did this in a very short period of time. So after that, you can see that we had a pullback. Price got stuck into this area and started pushing to the downside. So what I think will be happening in the next few days, we may get another move to the upside. It may be strong or weak. If it gets weak, it may get stuck into this area, and then we will see another move to the downside. And if the move is stronger, it may come back to this level, and then we see still price going to the downside. What is very clear to us is that we shall not be looking for buying opportunities next week, and instead we shall be looking for selling opportunities. So whether a move is stronger or weaker, we shall only be looking for selling setups. Our eyes are definitely looking at this previous key level on a daily chart, and so if price bounces from here or here, when we sell, we shall be looking at this key level here. Let's look at another pair. This is CAD Swiss franc. CAD Swiss franc, we can see that we have been in a bearish trend on a daily chart, very strong bearish trend, and then later on price got into this consolidation phase, whereby this is the upper line of the rectangle and this is the lower line of the rectangle. Recently we saw price break below the lower line of the rectangle, an indication that price most likely still has more chances of continuing to the downside. But before we sell, I think it would be good to get a nice pullback, if possible, into this area here. And if the pullback is stronger, we may see price go back to this key level. After that, we will be still selling, believing that price will continue downwards, at least move the distance of this upper line and this lower line downwards from this lower line. So what we are hoping for next week is another move to the upside, and if this move gets stuck into this area, we will sell. If it gets stuck into this area, we will sell, as long as it gives us very nice setups. What is clear again is that next week we shall not be looking for buying opportunities for CAD Swiss franc, so we shall ignore all buying setups and only concentrate on selling setups. So whether price gets stuck into this area or this area, we will only be looking for setups which point to the downside, and that is the idea for next week. Let's look at another pair. This is EURO-AUD. EURO-AUD, we had this strong move to the upside from here all the way into this zone. Later on, we got a pullback, and then buyers stepped in and pushed price upwards. So in my opinion, we are likely going to buy all the way into this key area. And so if price gives us any pullback into this key area, which is minor, we may continue buying all the way into this zone. So if the pullback is weak, it may not go below this level, but if it becomes stronger, it still may get stuck into this zone. Either way, we shall ignore selling pressure, and we will be looking for buying pressure and buying setups with eyes focused at this level here, the previous key level on a daily chart. So it will depend on how the pullback will be. We may even not get any serious pullback in this zone, but if we get it, no problem, we will buy looking at this key area as long as we get our good setups. So the pullback will determine how to enter this pair. What is clear again is that we shall not be looking for selling opportunities for Euro AUD, but we shall be looking for buying opportunities. So whether the pullback is weak or strong, we will be looking to buy either in this zone, or if it takes this order out, we will see how price will react when it gets into this zone. Idea is to buy Euro AUD until we get into this key area. Let's look at another pair. This is EURCAD. EURCAD, we can see that the trend is still bullish. Price moved strongly from this area into this zone, a pullback, a move up, a move down, a move up. We can see that when price got into this zone, it printed what looks like a rectangle, whereby this is the upper line of the rectangle, this is the lower line of the rectangle. And then recently, we saw price break above this upper line of the rectangle, an indication that we may get more pressure to the upside in the next few days or weeks. So the idea is still bullish, and therefore, if we get a pullback into this zone, especially after this break, if the pullback can move into this zone, most likely we will be getting another move to the upside. So what we are going to look for next week is a pullback. If we can see more pressure getting us into this zone, most likely we will be looking for setups which point to the upside. That's the idea for EURCAD. And as I've said, next week we will try our best to ignore all selling opportunities for EURCAD and only concentrate on buying setups. Let's look at another pair. This is Euro Swiss franc. Euro Swiss franc, the main trend is to the downside, or it is bearish. We have this move, the downside, very strong and very swift. Price moved up in this pullback, and then it got into this tight consolidation on a daily chart. What I would like to see next week is another move to the upside. It may get weak, it may get strong. If it is weak, it may get stuck into this zone, and then we shall see price moving to the downside to retest this previous key level on a daily chart. If price gives us a stronger pullback, it may get into this previous key level or even break it and create a false break before it can push the downside. But the idea is we will wait for a pullback at least into this zone, and if we get setups to sell, we will sell. If the pullback gets stronger and goes into this zone, we will still be looking for setups that point to the downside. We will ignore all buying opportunities for next week and then only concentrate on selling setups. Let's look at another pair. This is EURJPY. EURJPY, we can see that it is in a strong bullish trend. Price left this zone, it got stuck into this area, printed a rectangle, broke this rectangle, continued upwards, printed this key area and broke it, continued upwards. To me, EURJPY is still in a strong bullish trend. But as we get into next week, I prefer to get a pullback into this key area, this one here. And if it gets crazy, it may run into this area. If the pullback is weak, we may see price getting stuck into this area, and again buyers taking over and pushing price upwards. If the pullback gets crazy, as I said, we may see a move all the way into this zone to retest this broken key level of the rectangle, and then buyers will still be stepping in to push price up. It is also possible to get a more weaker pullback, whereby price may fail to reach here and continues upwards. But if it does that, I'll ignore the buying opportunity and wait for a pullback. So what I would like to see at least is a pullback into this zone, and then price printing very nice setups that point to the upwards or to the upside. And if, as I said, price pushes all the way into this area, I'll still ignore the selling pressure and only look for buying setups. To me, the main trend for EURJPY is still bullish, and looking for buying setups will be a better deal. Let's look at another pair. This is Euro-New Zealand dollar. Euro-New Zealand dollar, we have this strong move to the upside from here all the way into this area. We got a pullback into this zone, and buyers stepped in and pushed price upwards. So what I would like to see come next week is another pullback. If price can come back into this zone, I will be looking for setups that point to the upside. The idea is that we shall continue buying until we get into this key level on a daily chart. So when we get a pullback next week, if it can come into this zone, most likely we will be getting more pressure that point to the upside, and we may see price continue all the way into this key level. It's also possible that buyers may fail to come into this area and instead continue by giving us a simple pullback and then price moving upwards. But I prefer that at least we get a pullback, if possible, into this zone, and then another move to the upside. If price gets crazy and a pullback goes all the way into this area, I'll still ignore the selling pressure and only wait for my buying setups. Euro-New Zealand dollar, next week, I am biased to the buying side, and I'll only be looking for pullbacks and buying when I get setups that point to the buying side. Let's look at another pair. This is Great Britain Pound Canadian dollar. The pair is still bullish. Price left this zone, moved up into this area, gave us a pullback, moved up, moved down, and moved up, retested this previous key level. Actually, it was broken and later on turned into a false break before we got selling pressure that took us all the way into this zone. For me, I believe that Great Britain Pound Canadian dollar is still bullish, and therefore any pressure to the downside, I believe that this zone is likely going to hold price. We may see buyers step in and push price from where it is or slightly below, and then we may see buyers push price all the way into this key level, or even continue to break this temporary level and continue upwards. So come next week, the bias is still bullish for Great Britain Pound Canadian dollar, and therefore we shall be looking for buying setups on lower time frame so that we can buy. Let's look at another pair. This is Great Britain Pound Swiss franc. Great Britain Pound Swiss franc is still bearish. You can see that price left this zone, strongly pushed all the way into this area on a daily chart, and then we had this massive move or massive pullback into this zone. After getting into this zone, we can see that seller stepped in and pushed price again to the downside. So the idea, in my opinion, is still to continue selling. We are looking at this previous key level on a daily chart, which is not yet broken, and there are chances that it will be broken. So come next week, I think selling will remain the idea, but first, I would like to see a pullback into this zone. If the pullback is weak, it may get stuck into this zone, and then we may get setups that point to the selling side, and then we shall sell, believing that price will come back into this key area. If the pullback gets crazy, we may see it continue all the way into this previous key level. Once it does, again, we will ignore buying pressure and only be looking for selling setups at least for next week. So it will depend on how strong the pullback will be. If it gets stuck into this area and prints our selling setups, we will sell, targeting this level. If it pushes all the way into this area, we will still be looking for selling setups, believing that price has a chance of continuing back to this previous key level. Let's look at another pair, and this is Great Britain Pound JPY. The pair is strongly bullish. We can see that price broke this key area the first time here, and the second time, and the third time. Later on, it came and retested. So to me, Great Britain Pound JPY is still bullish, but I would be interested in seeing this broken level being retested one more time. You can see that after breaking, price came and retested one time. So if it can come and retest it the second time, there are higher chances that buyers will step in and push price above this previous key level. So what we'll be looking for next week is an opportunity of seeing price pulling back into this zone. If it does that, I'll be looking for buying setups to buy, believing that price will come and take out this level, if possible, print a new higher high on a daily chart. It is also possible that price may not even come to this zone. It may give a simple pullback and then continue upwards. Lower time frame will be guiding us, but I am so much interested in seeing this key level being tested the second time following this one here. If price can come back into this this level the second time, it will be printing a double bottom, and then it may continue upwards. So that's the idea for Great Britain Pound JPY, and let's look at another pair. This is Great Britain Pound New Zealand Dollar. The idea is bullish. Why? Because the main trend, we can see that price moved upwards so strongly into this area, gave us a pullback, and then started getting into this consolidation. So to me, the eyes are looking at this level, believing that price will in the future come back to this key area. Therefore, following this pullback and then this consolidation, I would like to see price breaking this consolidation from above and continuing all the way into this previous key level. So on lower time frame, for me, I believe that price from where it is or even slightly below, we may see price or buyers getting in and pushing price to come and break this key level, continuing upwards. If price gets crazy, the pullback may push all the way back into this key area, the previous lower level of this consolidation phase or this rectangle. If price gets crazy, it may get back into this zone, and then I'll still ignore the selling pressure. I will be looking for buying setups that point to the upside. So whether price gives me a pullback, an extension of this pullback into this zone, I'll ignore the selling pressure and only be looking for buying setups even on lower time frame. That's the idea, but for now we can set prices in a consolidation on a daily chart. But I believe that with this move, this strong move to the upside, we still have a chance that buyers will be coming to retest this key level. So that's why I think that the rectangle has higher chances of being broken from above. If price breaks this rectangle from below, most likely it will turn into a false break, and then buyers will step in and push price upwards. That's the idea for Great Britain pound, New Zealand dollar. Let's look at another pair, and this is New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc. We have this move to the downside from where price moved from this level all the way into this level very fast, and then got a pullback which got stuck into this area. Then sellers stepped in and pushed price to the downside. So come next week, the idea is still to continue selling. What I would like to see is a simple pullback into this zone and then setups that point to the downside. If the pullback gets crazy, it may come back into this key area, and then we will still be looking for selling opportunities, believing that price will continue all the way into this zone. So the eyes are looking at this level here. So whether the pullback gets weak and then prints setups that point to the downside in this zone, we will sell, and whether it continues all the way into this area, we will still be ignoring buying setups and looking for only selling setups. So I'll be looking at how price will react when it gives me a pullback into this zone or this zone, and I'll be looking for selling setups, believing that price will be targeting this previous key level. Let's look at the last pair, which is US dollar Swiss franc. US dollar Swiss franc, main trend still bearish. You can see that we have a very strong bearish move to the downside, or bearish trend, whereby price moved from this level all the way into this area, to made a pullback, moved down and broke this level here. So this rectangle, whereby this is the upper line of the rectangle, this is the lower line of the rectangle, has been broken in this area. So in my opinion, it's an indication that price will continue downwards in the nearby future. But come next week, I would like to see another move to the upside, at least into this zone. And then if price prints setups that point to the downside in this zone, most likely we'll be selling one more time, believing that price will come and take out this level and print a new lower low. If the pullback gets crazy or stronger, most likely it may come and get stuck in this key area, and then we will still be looking for selling setups, believing that price will continue downwards to take out this level and print a new lower low. So that's the idea for US dollar Swiss franc, and this happens to be the last pair in this video. I hope you benefit, and you'll be I request that you continue giving me the feedback depending on what you think will be happening. But also, if you are benefiting from such videos, please put thumbs up. It encourages me to continue making more videos for you. Otherwise, a very profitable week is what I wish you, and may God bless you.